A sentence that is commonly thrown around by the big fish in the boxing world is, "I am the face of boxing." But who actually holds this crown? Over the years, there have been clear candidates such as Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and even in recent times with the likes of Floyd Money Mayweather. This isn't an easy crown to wear. In fact, it may be too heavy for some, but it is what most fighters at the top of the food chain chase. But now, boxing fans and experts struggle to designate who is spearheading the sport. To be the face of boxing isn't just about being the best or drawing the biggest crowd, but is a combination of all aspects. Hello fight fans, and welcome back to another Squared Circle TV video. We will be discussing the potential candidates for this title and how it can be one of the most powerful positions in boxing. Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez was the last recognized face of boxing by the majority of the public, so it's only right we start with him. Some say he is still the face of the sport, but we'll leave that up for you guys to discuss in the comments. The redheaded Mexican made his professional debut at just the tender age of 15, defeating his opponent via a fourth-round stoppage, and would go on to have a Hall of Fame career that most probably believe he couldn't. Coming from the slums of Mexico, he flew through the ranks and would pick up his first world title against Matthew Hatton. After that, he would go on to conquer big names such as Shane Mosley and Austin Trout before running into the king of the sport at the time, Floyd Mayweather. In hindsight, the fight came too early for Canelo, and he would be taken to school by one of the greatest of all time, losing by majority decision, but with no risk comes no reward. And what he wasn't able to pick up in a belt, he gained in experience and tremendous exposure facing the biggest name in boxing at the time. Canelo would come back stronger, going on an undefeated rampage, stepping in there with the likes of Triple G, Amir Khan, Miguel Cotto, Daniel Jacobs, and even doing the unthinkable by moving up to light heavyweight and taking on a killer in Sergey Kovalev. He is a four-weight world champion and would become undisputed in the 168-pound division by going to each champion and taking their belt. It's clear why he became the face of boxing, but does he still sit on his throne? After clearing up the super middleweight division, he would go up to light heavyweight once more and take on Dmitry Bivol, and lose convincingly. The trilogy with Triple G and fights with Jermell Charlo and John Ryder were also underwhelming. The fact that these were all consecutive fights also made the hit to his stock worse. His most recent fight came versus a very live dog in Edgar Berlanga. The Puerto Rican certainly put up a good fight, surprising a lot of the public, taking Canelo the whole 12 rounds, refusing to fold under the big lights. Canelo would come out on top, but is he still on top of the game? Let us know in the comments below. Anthony Joshua. Being the face of boxing is more than just skills in the ring, but also what you do outside the ring. And Anthony AJ Joshua is arguably the most marketable athlete in the world, let alone boxing. For his good looks and his gentleman-like persona, he's definitely a strong candidate. His boxing resume isn't to be played with either, as it is one of the strongest in the heavyweight division. Not to mention he is a former unified heavyweight champ, which is to be respected. AJ left the 2012 Olympics with a gold medal, which skyrocketed his brand, and he was able to sign with one of the best promoters in the game, Eddie Hearn. The Brit from Watford would make his pro debut versus Emmanuel Leo, which would only last one round. The fight that would make him a household name locally was the dust-up between him and Dillian Whyte. There was no love lost, and Joshua lost to him in the amateurs, which made it even more intriguing. Come fight night, they wouldn't disappoint, as AJ showed some vulnerability getting hurt with the left hook, but would come through the fight stopping Dillian with a devastating uppercut in the 7th round. His first world title fight would be versus Charles Martin, who he would make easy work of and eventually go on to unify the division. The fashion in which he was winning, knocking his opponent's spark out, selling out stadiums and arenas, becoming an ambassador to Hugo Boss, signing a deal with Under Armour, it's fair to say AJ quickly became a brand himself, which helped his claim to face of boxing status, as he was one of the most recognizable faces in not just boxing, but in the whole sports world. It was when he ran into Andy Ruiz and Usyk where he lost the fearlessness and became more timid in the ring, which did hurt his stock. But the public were saying he's back after the knockout win against Francis Ngannou and Otto Wallin. But his recent loss to Daniel Dubois had severely hurt his stock after being flatlined in the 5th round. He showed tremendous heart, yes, but was clipped in the 1st round and simply couldn't recover, being dominated for the whole fight. Usyk is coming off the back of achieving what no man has in the heavyweight division since the legendary Leonix Lewis over 2 decades ago. He may not have the pull like others, but he is certainly a likable character with great charisma. Usyk is also the #1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet who is at the pinnacle of the sport and has won every single level there is in boxing. All the man knows is winning. Alexander not only conquered the heavyweight division, but done it on the road traveling to O2 Arena in Britain to take on the then unified heavyweight champ of the world, Anthony Joshua. Many fans and critics thought the size difference would be too much, but Alexander proved that skills pays the bills, schooling his opponent in a 12-round bout and severely hurting him at the end of the 12th. Maybe he could have even stopped him. They had the rematch, and even though AJ put up a better fight, it still wouldn't be enough to dethrone Usyk. Usyk would go on to smash another Brit in Daniel Dubois. Then the undisputed heavyweight fight would be made. It's fair to say the fight lived up to the bill, and it would prove to be his toughest test, as at the beginning of the fight, it looked like he would be outgunned by the bigger man, as Fury was boxing swiftly, but as they say, pressure bursts pipes, and the constant pressure from the Ukrainian certainly paid dividends. The famous round 9 would occur when he beat Fury from batter to post, forcing the ref to give an 8 count. Usyk would go on to win by decision and become undisputed heavyweight champ of the world. Tank. Last but certainly not least, we have the beast in the 135-pound division, Gervonta "Tank" Davis. It's fair to say this man has it all: the swagger, knockouts, big fight nights, and even bigger paydays. The 30-year-old's most recent bout came against a top 5 contender in Frank Martin, who proved to be a sturdy opponent. It was clear Tank had some ring rust after being out of action for over a year, but as he got into the fight it was clear to see him systematically breaking Frank down, and in the end he would take his soul by round 8, leaving him lifeless, stretched out on the canvas, and out for the count. He would stun his foe with a right hook left uppercut combination, then put him to the sword with a straight left hand. Being the face of boxing is a title that every fighter wants to hold, but who is actually the man? Leave in the comments below who you believe the face of boxing is. Thanks for watching, fight fans. We'll see you on the next one.